Sex doesn't expire at a certain age, but most men are quietly asking the same question they're often too embarrassed to say out loud. How often should I still be having sex after 60? And what if my body doesn't cooperate like it used to? What if I told you that intimacy after 60 isn't just normal? It can actually become better, deeper, and even healthier than it was in your 30s or 40s when you understand what your body truly needs now. And here's the myth we need to break right away. A lower sex drive after 60 is not inevitable. It's often a signal, not a sentence. Let's talk about what's really happening inside your body, what science says about frequency, and how men over 60 can restore desire, stamina, confidence, and connection without pressure, shame, or unrealistic expectations. Because this conversation matters, and you're not alone. One of the biggest mistakes men make after 60 is measuring themselves against their younger selves. Or worse, against unrealistic ideas they see online or hear in locker room talk. At 25, sex was driven by impulse and hormones. At 60 and beyond, it's driven by health, mindset, and connection. And that's not a downgrade. It's an evolution. Research consistently shows that men who maintain a satisfying sex life later in life tend to have better cardiovascular health, lower stress levels, improved mood, and even better cognitive function. But here's the part most people overlook. The quality of intimacy becomes more important than raw frequency. So, let's answer the question directly. How often should men over 60 have sex? The most honest, science-backed answer is this: as often as feels comfortable, enjoyable, and sustainable for your body. For many healthy men over 60, that can range anywhere from once a week to several times a week. Some couples enjoy intimacy every few days. Others find deep satisfaction once or twice a week. And here's the key: there is no correct number, only what supports your health and relationship. Have you ever noticed how stress or exhaustion can completely shut down desire, even when nothing is wrong? That's not age, that's physiology. Let me tell you about a man I'll call Robert. Robert is 67, retired, happily married, and in decent shape. But over time, he notices interest in sex fading. Not gone, just quieter. At first, he blamed age. Then he blamed himself. But when he started paying attention to sleep, movement, and stress levels, something changed. His desire came back, not explosively, but steadily. And intimacy became something he looked forward to again, instead of something he worried about. That's incredibly common, because libido after 60 is like a dimmer switch, not an on-off button. One of the biggest drivers of sexual frequency in men over 60 is testosterone. Testosterone naturally declines with age, usually about 1% per year after 30. But lifestyle factors can either slow the decline or accelerate it dramatically. Poor sleep, chronic stress, excess body fat, alcohol, sedentary habits. All of these quietly suppress testosterone. And low testosterone doesn't just affect erections. It affects energy, motivation, confidence, and mood. That's why many men say, "I don't feel like myself anymore." Have you experienced that feeling? Here's something that might surprise you. Regular sexual activity itself can help maintain sexual function. Think of it like muscle memory. When the body is used, it adapts. When it's ignored, it slowly downshifts. Studies suggest that men who engage in regular intimacy, even once or twice a week, tend to preserve erectile function longer than those who stop entirely. Not because sex is magic, but because blood flow, nerve signaling, and hormonal feedback loops stay active. It's use it or slowly lose it. Now let's talk about pressure, because this is where many men get stuck. When sex becomes something you feel you have to perform, desire often disappears. Performance anxiety increases cortisol. Cortisol suppresses testosterone. And suddenly the body doesn't respond the way you want it to. This creates a vicious loop. The solution isn't pushing harder. It's slowing down. Intimacy after 60 thrives on presence, communication, and relaxation. This is why many couples say sex improves later in life. Fewer distractions, more emotional safety, and deeper trust. What do you think about that approach? Another overlooked factor is cardiovascular health. Erections depend on blood flow. So does stamina. So does sensation. That means walking regularly, resistance training, and keeping blood pressure and cholesterol in check aren't just health habits, they're sexual vitality habits. Men who stay physically active into their 60s and 70s consistently report higher satisfaction with their sex lives. Not necessarily more frequency, but better quality. Let's pause for a moment. Where are you chatting from? Drop it in the comments section. And if you're enjoying this conversation and want more honest, practical health guidance from men as we age, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing community. Now, let's address a sensitive but important question. What if you want sex, but your body isn't cooperating? This is extremely common. Occasional erectile difficulties do not mean your sex life is over. They often mean your body needs support, not judgment. Hydration, sleep, reducing alcohol, managing blood sugar, addressing stress. These alone can dramatically improve performance. And for some men, talking openly with a healthcare provider can open doors to safe, effective options, including lifestyle strategies or medical support when appropriate. There is no shame in wanting to feel good in your body. Here's another scenario. A man in his early 70s told me he and his partner stopped having sex for almost a year, not because they didn't care about each other, but because neither wanted to pressure the other. When they finally talked honestly, they realized both still wanted intimacy, just in a gentler, slower way. Once the pressure disappeared, connection returned. Sex after 60 isn't about proving anything. It's about sharing something. Frequency also changes depending on relationship status. Men in long-term relationships often shift from spontaneous sex to planned intimacy, and that's not failure. Planning intimacy doesn't make it less passionate. It often makes it more intentional. Anticipation can be powerful. Let's talk numbers again, but with context. If you're having sex once a week and feel satisfied, energized, and connected, that's healthy. If it's twice a week, also healthy. If it's less often, but both partners feel fulfilled, that's still healthy. The real red flag isn't frequency. It's distress, frustration, or loss of desire paired with declining energy and mood. Those are signs worth paying attention to. And here's something men rarely hear. Your value does not decline with your libido. You are not less a man because your body changes. Masculinity isn't measured by performance. It's reflected in presence, confidence, and vitality. And vitality can be rebuilt at almost any age. As we move toward the end of this conversation, I want to leave you with something empowering. Men over 60 are not past their prime. They are in a different chapter. A chapter where health, intimacy, and self-respect matter more than chasing numbers or comparisons. Small daily choices, movement, nourishment, rest, connection, compound into powerful results. And intimacy becomes something you grow into, not something you lose. If you found this helpful and want more guidance on men's health, hormones, energy, and aging with confidence, make sure to subscribe and stay connected. This is Dr. Alex, and this is A Healthy Body, a place where honest conversations help you feel strong, capable, and alive at every stage of life. Take care of your body. It's the only one you get, and it's still very much working for you.